So any of you that have followed me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, wherever, you know we had a situation come up right before Thanksgiving. There was a emergency with a bearded dragon that lived through a house fire. This is not him. This is Rubius. This is our first bearded dragon. Any of you that have experience with bearded dragons, you know they're just wonderful animals, almost like a clawed puppy dog with spikes. This is Rube, and he would rather me not put him in front of the camera. He would rather be right there. But anyway, just using Rube as kind of a introductory. He wanted to be out, so back to Apollo. Back to the dragon that we took in. Didn't know a lot about him, just knew that his family had had a house fire, and he needed help. He was at a animal rescue south of us, across the river in a different state. I have a pretty good network of friends that know what we do and know that we will take in wayward reptiles and reptiles that are sick or in need. We've done this for several years. So I went over and got him, and he was cold, he was covered in soot, and he smelled of a house fire. We pretty much had everything ready for him here, and the main thing that I was worried about was smoke inhalation, and I knew that the room that he was in was what burnt, but I didn't know to what degree. I just knew that the family was displaced and this guy needed a place. Wasn't sure if this was going to be a temporary foster or long term we have another dragon. It didn't matter. Most of you know we had a house fire in May, and something just told me go help this kid. On the way home, had him on the heated seats, very lethargic, non-responsive, eyes wouldn't open, just pretty much hoping for the best, but expecting the worst. Once I got him set up in his basically quarantine enclosure, it is a 50-gallon open front Exoterra, intense UVB, high wattage basking. Did an F10 fogger treatment on him. Basically it's like 5 mils per liter. I actually go to 10 mils per liter and run it through a Reptifogger or a cool mist vaporizer that is a fogger, and that's a 15-minute treatment. Turn it off and just let them sit. Then I'll open the enclosure to get the humidity down after about 10 minutes of resting. Didn't notice any bad breathing issues, no wheezing, other than he had some nose trumpets from shedding, but his eyes were extremely swollen, irritated, and he would try to open them, but you could tell it was just painful. He was pancaked, not doing well at all. Fast forward a day, and he opened his eyes, and he would go from bright-eyed to squinting, so I could tell he was improving, but still pancaked. You could still tell he was in pain. Didn't know how much heat exposure he had had, or toxic smoke. House fires are horrible. Smoke inhalation from house fire is 1,000 times worse than you could get from any campfire. So I just kind of stuck with him, and we did a warm bath. Dawn dish soap with a toothbrush to clean him up. Ended up having to rinse him and do it twice. The warm water seemed to really help him. He agrees. You know, I kind of kept things away from his eyes as much as possible. I did. Where are you going? What do you see? Oh, he sees the tortoise. He wants to go get Norbert. Hang on, I'll be back. he's going to become a handful really quick. Okay, put him away. Where was I? Oh, used a Q-tip to clean his eyelids just a little bit. Did get some shed from the edges of his eyelids. Offered him some greens, offered him some dubia roaches. He didn't want anything to do with either. He was still, you could still tell he was in pain, pancaked and squinting. So fast forward a couple of more days, and after speaking with the owners a couple of times, decided that he was going to be going back home with them. It didn't matter how long it took. He's welcome here. He will be going back home eventually, because you can tell he's a little standoffish with me. Misses his people. We offered him some crickets after finding out he was really good with eating crickets, and he turned his nose up at them. And I walked in and sat down right here, and he is right there in the other room. You can see him clear and unobstructed, other than the camera that's watching him also. And he was eating crickets because I was out of the room. He's still unsure of me, but he tolerates me. He has been eating greens. Everything that we feed is dusted with calcium with D3. Plus, I also use Arcadia Revitalized D3. I'm not sponsored by Arcadia. We use their lights. We use a lot of their products, and came across the Earth Pro Revitalized D3 and its minerals and vitamins. Norbert the tortoise swears by it. He would much rather have that than regular calcium. He will clean an entire plate of collard greens. The Rube's in there having a fit. Fast forward to today. This photo is what I opened the blink camera up to, and kind of had a feeling he was ready for some more crickets. So that's what we did. I guess I'll bring him out, and you'll get to see what we're dealing with and what we do. We'll talk a little bit more. So this is Apollo. He's still a bit touchy with me, but as you can see, we are in a lot better shape than those first photos. Wasn't too concerned about him not eating for a little while. His fat pads are good and plump. He is extremely healthy, other than having been through hell. Talking to the dad of the family, and the room that caught on fire was where his enclosure was. He took the brunt of the heat. They thought he was expired, and he spent a few nights in a tub in a cold house because they thought he was dead. They came back to bury him, and he wasn't dead. So they didn't know what to do, so they took him to the animal rescue, and the next day he landed with us. I'm pretty sure this is going to turn into a wonderful story with a very happy ending. As you can see, he's alert. His eyes are open. He's clean, and he doesn't smell like house fire anymore. What do you think, buddy? What do you think? We're going to be okay? I think we're going to be okay. Anyway, that's that story. That's Apollo's story. Probably left a whole bunch out, but just kind of wanted to give everybody a good story with a happy ending. There will be another one with him. He will be returned to his family. I know he misses his girl, and I know his girl misses him, along with the mom and dad. I know they love him too. It was very apparent that he was loved. Anyway, before I get choked up, we will see you next time.